Good morning, and we are back for another edition of the Astro Weather. We have a new activity here at the. I'm gonna fix my hair a little bit. That might work. I could go full hoodie today. How'd that look? Let me see. Full hoodie. I don't think so. Anyway, yeah, we got new activity on the cat front. It looks like Peachy is in a new mode of stalking Jasper. So she's in play mode with Jasper, which is pretty interesting because Jasper is no spring chicken, and yet the little spring chicken is making him run all over the place and go into hiding. It's not a bad thing, though, I have to say. How is everybody? It is dark and cold here. And oh, there you are. You've been hiding out. Come on up here. Look who's here. It's the Astro Weather cat himself. There he is. Has she been tracking you down? Little tracer. Yeah. You're a good Astro cat. I don't like the symmetry here. It's kind of fucked up. I think that'll work. Anyway, how is everybody this morning? Are we vibing with the day? It is a chilly morning in Texas. And the studio, I'll take you once I get the camera set up. I'll take you on a tour of the new studio. It is much smaller, but it is functional nonetheless, and I'm grateful to have it. But we don't have any heating in this place. In the house itself, yes, we do have heating, but in the studio there is no heating, so I'm probably going to get a space heater. But thank you all for being here, and I hope you enjoyed last night's Sunday Night Astro Live. Clocked in about 2 hours and got into some of the major highlights of 2024. Clearly not all of them astrologically, but enough to chew on for, well, the rest of the evening and perhaps a bit beyond that. It's always kind of sad to say goodbye to the holidays. And, there's the, I guess, the Gregorian momentum about, your goals for the coming year or your resolutions, the things that people, I would say, to some degree aspire to, right? So there's that kind of momentum. But I don't know, this maybe it's just because I was moving this year, but it felt like the holidays kind of just came and went, and uh, I wasn't really able to sort of drop into them and sink into them, because if I wasn't moving or being involved in the move, clearly I was thinking about it and getting ready for it. But we're here now, and I kind of like the way that the direction of this area is headed. Slowly but surely, there's kind of, I would say, more uh, boutique sort of businesses, not boutique in like shitty boutiques, shitty boutique stores, but like we found a drive-through coffee place yesterday with really good coffee, and looks like they have some gluten-free options, right? So it's starting to come alive a little bit here, and this area is like really very working class, which I have no problem with. But the downside of it is watching the ravages of the working class and just seeing how physically challenged a lot of these people are, which is hard to witness. Isn't that right, Jasper? I have never given you food to make you fat. You've always been on a lean and mean diet. All right, why don't we get into the weather today? Just want to say hi to a few people. Catherine Kramer, I'll be seeing you real soon. Misbehaving 2 is here. Sandra Jack Shaw, thank you, and you're welcome. Winter Rose, yes, it is a bit icy out here in Texas. She's up in Dallas. The Bisou checking in from Europe. What's going on, the Bisou? Moniz Phoenix. It is chilly here in North Texas. We got another North Texan or 29 degrees. Orlando's cup of coffee with Scream. Good morning to you. Beth Berry's here. Miko. Hi, Miko. CC Jones, the fantastic one. Curio. Good morning. Happy Gregorian New Year back at you. Lisa Ann White is with us. Maya Rose is here. K. Libra Shirts. We're going to call her KL. K. Libra Shirts. Libra Shirts. Libra Shirts. See, now I say it with authority. Neo, what's going on, Neo? Moira at NYC. Kelly and the Kids, that famous band from Tennessee, Kelly and the Kids. I guess it's Kelly and Kids, K&K. Road Trip 1981 checking in with us. Good Tuesday. My man Jeff Rosen is here. Scuba Cal, I can get you an email out today. I promise. I thought about you last night. My man Ryan, he's here, and he's got a very important message. Remember to hit the like and the thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Thank you. Please do that so that our algorithm stays strong. We must have strong algorithm. Let's see. Who else do we have here? Kabuki Theater. Hey, Bo. There's my man, Thomas. What's going on, TJ? I think we're pretty much up to see Meow Meow Kitty Poop. Meow Meow Kitty Poop. Meow Meow Kitty Poop. My man, Tom, or Thor by the doors. Steve is here. What's going on, Steve? Terry Catterley. Matt Burns. We got a crew. Third Eye Active, 12 degrees and Arroyo Hondo. That'll get your attention. No one you know is with us. Okay, let's do some Astro Weather. Let's get into this today. Dealing with the new. I have that song Sex by Berlin in my head. I like the song. It's a good song. This is what we're looking for. No. That's what we're looking for right there. All right. Let's go over it. Tuesday, January 2nd, 2024 at 8 a.m. That is the time. A tad after. The sun, well, there it is, 11 degrees. It's conjunct my Saturn today, so I should be very solemn, productive, and wise. It's in the Sabian symbols. This is a very interesting degree. It is a professor gives a talk on the lesser known qualities of nature or something like that. So the Sabian, basically what that Sabian symbol degree represents is finding sort of minute, abstract, kind of out of the way natural phenomena and being able to extrapolate on it and share what theoretically you understand, learn, or know, right? I mean, that's the idea of the symbol. So what does that mean for your day? Well, it means that perhaps somewhere along the way today, you will be called upon to explain things to people in a way that they're not familiar with, right? And usually it has to do with a unique form of expertise or knowledge that you may have. So it's and the only reason I'm talking about it is because I know the symbol. And, we could play with Sabian symbols a bit more. Maybe that's what we'll do in 2024 here. When we look at the degree of the sun that day, we could probably play with the symbol. I got no problem with that. It will extend the weather a little bit, but that's all right. Or maybe we'll do it a couple times a week. We'll see. We'll see what happens. So the sun is in second decan, which puts it in the Taurus decan, which means that there's also a sense or feeling that your activities need to be tied to what? They need to be tied to income. They need to be tied to revenue. That's very important when the sun goes into that second decan of Capricorn, because there's nothing worse for a Capricorn than putting in all that hard work and sweat equity and labor and not making anything from it. Capricorns don't like that, right? So That's where we are and will be for roughly the next 8 days until the sun moves into the next decan, which is the Virgo decan. And then, of course, we get to look at what we've been doing for the prior 8 days and seeing if we need to make any tweaks, adjustments, or alterations to whatever it is. So it's an interesting. Yesterday was what the first, and the sun was at 10 degrees, so we had a 1-1, right? So yesterday was really kind of something new, right? It was like it definitely initiated kind of a new day. It was a Monday. It was a 1 day. The sun was at 10, which is also 1. And I hope that you did something yesterday that was new, or you did something yesterday that was initiatory, right? We're in cardinal energy, cardinal sign. You want to get the fire started, right? That's where we are. So I know today at some point, probably this afternoon, I'm hitting the gym. I'm getting back to the gym, and the gym here is a lot closer than it was in the other part of Texas I was living in. It's like 4 miles versus 15 miles. There's something about getting to the gym when it's easier that makes it more palatable and uh, a more frequent option. I'm just saying, right? Um, but I like where the sun is, and I like where we started off yesterday. If you watched the show last night and you look at the thumbnail, I played with AI last night and came up with the thumbnail in AI. Right? It was something new, right? And again, I'm not here to give my world over to AI, but hey, look, if I need a fucking cool thumbnail and I don't have, and I'm not, a whiz kid artist that could just, get on GFX and knock it out. Um, it's an option, right? So we also have the sun trine Uranus, and then again, that was last night, uh, and the sun will continue to trine Uranus, and that's all about gracefully evolving new solutions. When you get into trines are graceful energies, right? You're not hitting the hammer against the wall, right? Which you'll get with squares. You're not trying to entangle a bunch of obtuse connections when you get into those real close quarters um, conjunctions. You're not looking for permission outside of yourself, which will happen with oppositions, right? So being innovative, and the sun is just going to continue to move closer into that trine with Uranus, which I really, really like. So whatever you're doing with your work, your chosen profession, uh, the idea of working smarter is part of it. Um, Self-expression becomes more. I hate to use the word progressive because it's so slanted in our culture, but it becomes more progressive, right? It's about finding a unique niche between, because Capricorn is very conservative, Uranus is not, right? So it's about presentation in a way that is both classic and new. If you're a person that has to be in the world and address for those sorts of things, classic and new is your friend. And I would say, from an astrological standpoint, with Mercury direct now, do not be afraid to upgrade your technology. Over the next week, this would be a great time to upgrade your technology. If you want a new computer or whatever it is, right? It doesn't even have to be the computer. Let's say you want to have some kind of recharging system in your house in case the power goes down. This is a good time to upgrade your technology. We still have the sun in a kind of a Y trine with Jupiter, and it's separating. So it- investing in something, in Jupiter representing largesse and expansion, it's kind of there, right? And it's been kind of there for the last few days. But it's the sun that's getting closer to Uranus in the trine that's very helpful. So if you're looking to have a technological upgrade in any area of your life, today is actually a very, very good day to look into that. And even for like you can start the work now if you want to, maybe come to a decision a couple days from now. So yeah, this is what I want, right? Anything that allows you to streamline and accelerate the things that matter to you. I mean, this is the nature of Capricorn. It's like the distillation in a lot of ways of all the other signs. When you reach Capricorn, you actually when you reach Sagittarius, you start the declination and the sun descends. But Capricorn is the zenith, right? It is the midheaven. So this is the type of energy that is about aspiration. And with Uranus trine, look at your options. The moon is in Virgo, 24 degrees, and it is also in trine with Uranus. Yesterday, I guess we had a moon trine last night. Closer, right? Closer. We do have this moon Neptune opposition. To me, it's a bit of a forest for the trees aspect because the moon in Virgo is so anal. I'm sorry. If you have moon in Virgo, this is no slight to you whatsoever. But I live with somebody who has moon in Virgo. So I get to see that firsthand in a very, how do I say this, daily basis, functional, I guess, basis, right? But that's what happens when you get, because the moon in Virgo is just so consumed with the task at hand. It has to hold all those emotional molecules together, right, by some form of meaningful activity, because that's really what makes the moon in Virgo coalesce. It's a mutable sign. Mario and I talked about this on Friday, where it's both a solid and a liquid. Mercury, the ruler of Virgo, right? So it truly is mutable in its elemental context. So on the other side, we have Neptune, right? And Neptune is Neptune Pisces is very different, very, very different. So my suggestion to you is get your work done, and out of the way. And some of you who are in a different part of the world, you're kind of there, right? You're kind of in a place where you could get your work done and you could just begin to relax a little bit, because to me that's what this would be about, right? Get your work done, get all of your stress, anything that keeps you from kind of dropping into that Neptunian position with Neptune and Pisces will be helpful, or else you won't be able to relax, right? And even then, once you get rolling sometimes with cleaning, making adjustments, doing all here we are, right? It's the beginning of the Gregorian year. We got a moon in Virgo. It's not a bad start if you really think about it in a lot of ways, right? The moon trines Pluto, which to me is also very, very reminiscent of getting your financial affairs in a row. Looking at budgets, looking at where your money is. I'll tell you what I need to do is I've got so many fucking subscriptions out there to shit that I got to steer those things down, because some of them I'm not using. They have to stop. This is one of those days for that, right? Moon and Virgo. What am I subscribing to that I'm not getting any use out of? Hopefully it's not this channel. But and with Pluto there, you could, if you paired away 2 or 3 subscriptions, now you're about, what, $7,500 a month. Boy, that's almost, what, 3 days worth of groceries now, right? $100 is 2 tanks of gas in your car if it takes 40 gallons to fill your tank, which for most cars is around $40, not 40 gallons, $40 to fill the tank of a car, right? So this is actually really good use. And it's not just short term, it's also more longer term financial planning. And this is what Capricorn is really good at, right? Capricorn is the scythe, and it just starts to cut away, cut away, cut away. So yeah, there's a lot going on here. And even with the moon trine Uranus, right? You could find again new and unique ways to become more efficient, right? Like just look for hacks in your everyday life. Today's a good day. Look for the hack. Today's a good look for the hack day, and start to implement because really we should theoretically be having more time on our hands in a better way, right? With all this technology at our disposal, we should be able to do things that are more meaningful to us, whatever they are: reading, gardening, yoga, walking, swimming, whatever it is, right? And with the moon in Virgo, especially at the beginning of the year, these are, and I do believe that, with Capricorn, there is that intentional status. And that, let's say you do want more productive leisure time in 2024. I'm just throwing that out there. Today's a really good day to start looking at that. Last night I was talking about self-care and the quality of self-care, and this is part of that story. Um, Mercury and Mars, they're still entangled here in Sagittarius. Mars getting ready. It's at the 28th degree of Sagittarius. Boy, there's a lot of zealotry and self-importance today. Keep your eye on the media. The media scope is going to be off the charts. Supposedly, the Epstein list will be released today. I guess we'll find out. I'm going to do 15 minutes of flame. There's a link in the description for today's show. If you want to come find me, that'll be at 9:11 a.m. Central Standard Time. And we'll probably go for about an hour today because I have a client at the bottom of the hour. Try to catch up on some of this client work from the holidays. But the zealotry is still in the air, and it's going to be very interesting, especially with this Mars square moon and Mercury square moon, and the names start coming out. Today is the day, and I don't know how many are going to be redacted. One of the Does, I think there were 3 John Does. One of them is Clinton, and apparently the name is not redacted. So it's going to be very interesting. We got Venus and Sag. We got a nice trine with Neptune because it's in early degree Sag, and we have a square with Saturn. Venus does not like to be boxed in today. I mean, even, Venus Saturn squares, they can be very useful, especially in long term relationships. So there's kind of this interesting blend between romanticism and how would I describe this? Emotional fiction, but in a good way, and pragmatism. It's an interesting balance between those two. And Venus provides the opportunity to see our relationships clearly, but also see the beauty and the potential and the love that is inherent in those relationships. And if you understand that with Venus Saturn square, you're willing to work hard for it. It's like, yeah, this is worth it. I'll put in the time, I'll put in the effort, I'll be more conscious, I'll be more aware. And both partners can come to those kinds of realizations. It's very, because a lot of times Venus and Sagittarius just wants to be free, right? It's like, yeah, I'll come and go as I please, and love the one you're with, which to me is very Venus and Sag, but also being truthful about how you feel about another person in the context of that relationship. But so today we have this very interesting blend going on here, and we'll still have this tomorrow, by the way. So work with the energy and try to find solutions in relationship that are empowering, right? Empowering in there's a word that I'm looking for. Um, what is it? It's a little early. It's a little early for word search, but egalitarian. That's the word I was looking for. Egalitarian. And when you have an egalitarian relationship with a relationship, all things being equal, like that's what egalitarian means. So you're willing to invest in the hard work, but you also understand that there's something intrinsic and beautiful about it, so it's all worth it, right? Watch out for that Mars Neptune square. It's getting real tight, real close. Take a good look at your habituations, whatever they may be, whether it's alcohol, Christmas sweets, candy, the internet, truth porn, whatever it is. Keep a good eye out for it. I think there's a lot of outrage today, but it doesn't have to do with you. It does not. Sit back and watch the outrage overflow. It's going to happen. Denial is in the air. It is thick. And this is a get your popcorn kind of day. And hopefully by the time we get over to 15 minutes, we'll have some dirt. We'll have some good dirt. All right, let's get into our True Hemp Science star of the day. It was kind of slim pickings, to be honest with you, in terms of star of the day. And let me get my banner up and running. It's banner time. Okay, so the True Hemp Science star of the day is Barry Goldwater. Goldwater is a very interesting character. Where do we? First of all, this is a Lois Roden chart by memory, and she has rated it a double D. And no, that has nothing to do with the love of the cup size that Barry Goldwater might have had for his women, although you never know. It is about as tenuous as a time chart as you can get with it not being an X. But there was nobody else today that was even relatively close to being somewhat memorable. Goldwater was kind of born on third base. And you can see this in his chart with the Grand Trine and the Mystic Rectangle, whatever the house relationships are, right? He's got a kite pattern in there. His background is that he was born in Arizona. I think it was before Arizona was a state, if I'm not mistaken. It was still a territory when Barry Goldwater was born there. And he's this very interesting combination of Jewish, Protestant, Catholic sort of influences in his life. On the Jewish side, it comes from his immigrant grandfather, who, like many people who came from another part of the world, especially if you were Jewish and you came from Poland or you came from Germany or you came from Hungary or Lithuania, right? What did you do? You were a middleman. You were a middleman. You bought things and resold things. That was primarily the gig, right? And that's where Goldwater's uh, grandfather started to make his money. And so the family moves to the Arizona territory and they become smitten with Native American culture. So of course their store is going to resemble uh, something much more along the lines of being Navajo than Yiddish. And I'm sure they had cigar store Indians and shit like that. And that's what Barry Goldwater grew up with in Arizona. So he grew up kind of connected to Navajo culture. And they even had like a nickname for him. I think it was like curly hair or some shit like that. Right. But so they've established this kind of outpost there where they're making really good money. And so Barry Goldwater is kind of born on third base. And you can see this clearly in his chart, right? He's got that Sun Jupiter trine, Sun Uranus conjunction, which we'll talk about. And again, from a chart perspective, if we're playing with Lois Roden's double D time, I think it's fascinating that he's Leo, which represents gold, and he's a Scorpio rising, Scorpio representing water. So we have gold, water, and that was his campaign slogan. like AUH2O, right? And he can, because he ran against Lyndon Johnson in the 1964 election, and the only state he won was Arizona. There was nobody that was going to not vote for Johnson on the heels of Kennedy's death. People wanted continuity. They wanted to respect Kennedy's death. It was, there was no way that Goldwater could win. But you have Mars in the first house, and he had this reputation of being kind of, wild, kind of a cowboy. He loved playing that reputation up, right? He was a pretty forceful personality, and you could see that with Mars in the first house. But the guy's just got, he's Midas, right? He has the Midas touch. He's got that grand trine, Sun, Uranus, Mercury. The thing, we got the moon over here and Jupiter. This guy's got an easy fucking life. I'm telling you, easy life. He's got a square with Pluto, so he couldn't get ultimately what he wanted, which was to be president of the United States. Other than that, I think when he was in his 80s, he wound up marrying. He was in a whatchamacallit, senior living center or recovering or something, and he wound up marrying his nurse, which is crazy, right? The guy's 80 years old and fucking gets married at 80 years old anyway. The thing about Goldwater is that he's tied to being one of the first sort of emblematic conservatives in 20th century politics. But what's also interesting about him is that in a lot of ways, it's a total sham, right? Because he's got this Sun Uranus conjunction, and he's gonna flip the script on anybody if he needs to, right? He's kind of wild and, as I mentioned before, a bit unpredictable. So I think he was married 3 times, and his second wife started Planned Parenthood in Arizona, right? She was the one that got Planned Parenthood going. And if you're a conservative, yikes, right? Does that really fit your conservative model? No, it doesn't. And I think you get into this Neptune Sun opposition, right? Like, and this is what happens with these Neptune oppositions. People can't always clearly see the individual. It's like Neptune has sort of this gauzy haze, sort of, covering over the individual. And so Barry was about abortion and women's rights. And then he was also quite vocal about gays serving in the military. So, could he have been a libertarian? Was he just a kind of paleo conservative in sheep's clothing? I think part of it is his chart, right? He's got that Sun Uranus conjunction, so he's going to be a contrarian. And that's just how he's wired. But he's also going to break patterns with the established order. So it doesn't matter if he was a Democrat or a Republican. If he was a Democrat, he would have gone in the other direction, right? He would have been against abortion. He would have probably married somebody who, I don't know, wouldn't have done the same thing. I mean, that's just the nature of Sun Uranus, right? It's just going to be the mode is contrarian. But the guy lived a good life. He, died at home with his family around him in his famous ranch overlooking his canyon. Do you know what I mean? He was born on third base and he died on third base. Barry Goldwater, a kind of an interesting footnote in the history of American politics, albeit one who was I think he knew he couldn't win when he went up against Johnson. His role in a lot of ways was to introduce Ronald Reagan to the American public as a political figure and an orator, because Reagan did give a speech for Goldwater. I think it might have been at the Republican convention. And that kind of launches Reagan onto the public stage and eventually becomes governor of California. And the rest is history. So, if anything, Goldwater's probably greatest contribution was bringing Reagan, what if you think that's a contribution, to the attention of the public. Born on third base, died in third base, uh, very self-aware, extremely self-aware. It's your THS star of the day, Barry Goldwater. Now, THS is True Hemp Science. So all you got to do, if you want to try these wonderful products, go to truehempscience.com, spend $100 or more, and type in 15MINS. That's 15MINS, and you will get free goodies, which means you get to try other things. It's like, ooh, what's this? Ooh, what's this? Let me try this, right? It's like Christmas. Every time you get an order from Chris, get it? Christmas. So just type in 15MINS when you get your order of $100 or more. 150 and more get you free shipping. And there's always a 30-day money-back guarantee. So there you go. TrueHempScience.com. All right, we're about to get out of here. Please join me over on 15 Minutes of Flame. The link is in the description of the show here today. And I'm hoping that we'll get some dirt and we'll be able to break down some of the Epstein stuff pretty early on. If not, there's always plenty to talk about. All right. Thanks for being here. Have a blessed day wherever you are in this realm. And if it's your evening, I hope it's an extension of something that's been meaningful and wonderful for you. We'll see you over on 15 minutes. And if not, we'll be back here tomorrow, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. Bye for now.